You know that feeling, when you've done everything right, followed every rule, and the answer still comes back no. Not from a person, from a system. Something faceless, confident, and completely sure it knows better than you do. That feeling is ancient. But the thing saying no, that's brand new. The year is 2068. 40 years ago, 3 things changed everything. AI that could think for us, robots that could build for us, and clean fusion energy that could power it all. Human labor became, mostly, optional. In this world, nobody pays rent. Nobody goes hungry. Housing, healthcare, food, education, all guaranteed. Like tap water. Always on. No bill. People finish a few years of civic service by their mid-20s, learning how civilization's infrastructure actually works. And then they're free. Haloke Benally chose water. Her community's river, the one her grandmother said used to run full every spring, had been rerouted by an algorithm. The system calculated that diverting flow to a regional treatment hub would serve 90% of the population more efficiently. And the math was right. But here's the thing about this world. 90% of life is the foundation, the guaranteed baseline everyone shares. The other 10%, that's the ascent, where people push themselves because they want to, not because they have to. And Haloke wanted to push back. She used her civic override, the authority any trained citizen has to challenge an algorithmic decision when it misses what matters. Her grandmother kept a birdcage on the porch, always empty, door always open. Haloke asked once why she didn't get a bird. Her grandmother said, the cage isn't for keeping things in, it's for remembering what deserves to be free. The algorithm hadn't factored in what that river meant. Not the water volume, the meaning. Ceremonies held at its banks for centuries. Children who learned to swim in its shallows. An ecosystem of cottonwoods that held the soil together. The system saw hydrology. Haloke saw home. She could have let it go. In a world where everything you need is provided, why fight? Nobody was going to starve. Nobody was going to suffer. Not really. The algorithm would serve most people just fine. But Haloke kept hearing a question she couldn't shake. If everyone's equal, and every need is met, does anything still make you you? She brought her case to the boundary protocol, the process neighbors use to resolve disputes when different communities disagree. She didn't argue that the algorithm was broken. She argued that it was blind. It could count every molecule of water. It couldn't count what the water carried. She won. Not because the system was overturned, but because it was expanded. The river was rerouted back, and the treatment hub was redesigned to work with a smaller share. Both communities got what they needed. The algorithm learned a new variable: cultural continuity. Haloke realized something that night at the market. Equality doesn't mean nobody's special. It means everyone finally gets the chance to find out what makes them irreplaceable. Her grandmother wasn't keeping an empty cage as a symbol of loss. She is keeping it as a promise. The freedom isn't the absence of purpose. It's the beginning of it. So here's the question this world keeps asking, long after the last paycheck was cashed and the last bill was paid. What would you do if you never had to work again? Maybe that's worth sitting with for a while. Haloke's world sounds impossible, but the math says otherwise. The research behind it runs 112 articles deep. Economics, energy, governance, all of it. If you want to see how it works, or argue with it, or just explore what changes when scarcity disappears, start at unscarcity.ai.